What's a telltale sign two people are having a secret sexual relationship with each other?
It's definitely the awkward avoidance of one another for no reason. When I was a supervisor, two of my employees were secretly dating, and being as young as they were, 19 to 20 years old, they didn't have the ability to hide their feelings without avoiding each other as if they hated one another. I figured it out on day one. Hilariously cute. Edit. When they finally told me, I told them I already knew. They were flabbergasted that I figured it out. It wasn't that hard. When y'all make googly eyes at one another across the store or try to surreptitiously touch hands at the till, I'm gonna notice. Their orbits are smaller around each other. Without meaning to, they will change their personal space requirements with the other. They'll think they're normal distance away, but won't be. Also, they'll move around each other too easily, like in small spaces, without the awkward missteps the rest of us make.
When your so brings someone up way too much in the beginning, then mysteriously stops talking about them at all, even when the situation potentially calls for it.
Wife. We got a new guy at work. I have to start training him tomorrow. Next day asterisk. I started training the new guy today. His name is Kevin. Kevin's actually pretty funny. You'd like Kevin. Kevin has the same sense of humor as us. Next week asterisk. They sent me and Kevin to the other branch today. They gave us the company card for lunch, so we went to a nice place. Kevin took forever deciding what to get. Kevin said he didn't recognize most of the items, so I had to order for Kevin. Next month asterisk. They're sending me to Miami this weekend to meet with a prospective client. Husband. Oh, that's nice. Is Kevin going too? Wife. Who?
Greater than what's a telltale sign two people are having a secret sexual relationship with each other? The gut feeling you had before posting here.
Physical closeness. Princess Margaret was accurately accused of having an affair after wiping some dust off of a married man's suit jacket.
As someone who once had a wonderful female work friend who would always try to get the cat hair off my shirt when I came in, I suspect I was missing cues there. Edit. At this point, with this many positive and negative responses, I should probably clarify that I just asked my fiancée and confirmed, yes, she was indeed trying to send me a signal when she was pulling the cat hair off me, but I didn't actually get the message until like a year later.
If you know them before it, they'll stop flirting as much as they had been prior to it. They make sure they don't leave a place together but linger around long enough to know when the other is leaving. They look at each other when something funny or bad happens.
The glances.
I work in HR, and someone dropped an anonymous tip once that a member of senior management was sleeping with a female subordinate. So IT gave me access to their emails, and I swear to God, the moment I read, "I can still smell you on my fingers," I immediately wanted to quit HR.
On the work email? Good God.
Yeah, it was bad.
A bunch of us used to hang out on a TeamSpeak server to play games. One day we were chatting when the server admin just blurted out, "So, guy and girl, you two have the same IP address today. You effing."
That would have been embarrassing and funny at the same time.
They start using each other's speech mannerisms. Like one of them always replies to something you say to them with, "Is that right?" And then you hear your wife saying it all the time after you get back from a week-long work trip. Edit. For everyone saying they do this all the time. Yes, it is common, and I also do it. It's just the way I keyed into the affair. Both can be true. Peace.
I'm sorry Alaska_Roy. It sounds like your wife maybe had another Alaskan_toy?
They're married now, so he gets to deal with her, not me. Life, man, what a trip. Smiley face.
I've caught people because they didn't follow one another on social media to try to avoid suspicion, but they both posted that they were at the same place in similar photos, and despite not posting about one another, it was obvious. They didn't know what the other was posting because they didn't follow one another LMFAO, which ultimately lead to the downfall of their discretion.
Greater than, but they both posted that they were at the same place in similar photos, and despite not posting about one another, it was obvious. This happened to a work friend of mine. He told me he was going to a baseball game that weekend. In a weird twist, our company had hired an old female acquaintance of mine who periodically updated her Snapchat. I have no idea if my friend knew me and her were friendly enough to be on social media together. This was also preceded by some people in the building suggesting they had started dating. Well, lo and behold, that weekend she posts a bunch of snaps of the game, no photos of who she was with, but a few of her posing for pictures with someone else recording. The ruse barely lasted another 2 weeks.
Internet sleuthing wins again.
The little conversational clues. Like when two people glance knowingly at each other frequently, or have friendly little side whispers because they have their own thing going on apart from the group. And they hover near each other to be physically close. All those little examples of intimacy that is only between them. A married ex-friend of mine once started showing up with a woman and acting like that. I could tell they were banging, and I couldn't believe he wasn't trying harder to conceal it. Turns out, the poor woman had no idea he was married, and was unaware that everyone else did know. It was later traumatizing to her to realize she had been seen as a mistress, when she was the only person who didn't know what was really happening. She's now a friend of mine. He is not.
Poor woman. Seems like she dodged a bullet.
She really did. The guy turned out to be a real sociopath. It was super hard for her. She's a super smart, funny and attractive person who really took a hard blow from the whole debacle, which played out over 18 months. I have zero respect for the bastard who did that to her and to his wife. He had all his friends fooled into thinking he was a great dude. He conned a lot of us. F that guy.
Sometimes you can tell by the way they casually, appropriately, touch each other in public. Certain things are awkward until you cross that line.
At a place I worked at about 25 years ago, female coworker dropped her screwdriver and our boss picked it up and stuck it in her pocket. Later that day my buddy says, she did not flinch or look away from what she was doing when his hand went to her pocket. His hand has been in that pocket before.
Carpooling when there is not much convenience to it because they don't live all that close to each other.
Interestingly, now husband offered to carpool with me because we do live close to each other, but I was fine using the company shuttle. I kind of thought that it was an inappropriate offer because I had a boyfriend that time, so I did not agree with the arrangement. When my then boyfriend broke up with me for another girl, we reopened this conversation about carpooling and things ended up in marriage, so I guess carpooling is a big deal. Also happened with my sister, she also married her own carpool guy. If one person slips and mostly reacts to something funny or distinct to that individual, when the rest of the group isn't. And they might try to cover or restrain that emotion. Had co-workers at a local mum and pop a few years back that would hold hands at work but let go as soon as someone else walked in the room. It was the unspoken secret of the store, and the owner told us in no uncertain terms that we were never to discuss it. They were very much married to other people, and from what I could see, their respective spouses had no idea about it. Even at company parties, they didn't even make eye contact. At work though, it was almost like it was their first crush. They were both extremely nice people, just apparently not to their spouses. I walked in on them sleeping together at the store one night after close, and a couple of days later I was summarily fired. Edit: a few people have said that they would have told their spouses, but it was the owner who fired me, not them. Plus, I really didn't have a way of contacting their spouses anyway.
Lol, did they allow your boss to watch or something? Why the hell was he so intent on allowing them to cheat?
Awkward avoidance of each other.
Or disappearing at the same time. Taking off-site lunch at the same time.
The two of them consistently being the last ones left at the group hangout, especially if one of them is hosting.
100% this one. I know they bout to bone when my friend says for everyone to leave and that new girl doesn't move an inch. Pay attention to who they look at when they laugh. It may not reveal a sexual relationship necessarily, but it's such an innocent act that at the very least reveals that they want to ensure they are connected at that moment.
These two I used to work with, they got found out because a skunk sprayed outside the guy's house real bad. The next day they came into work separately and ignored each other as usual, but they both smelled like skunk. Then everyone knew, but they didn't know we knew.
I hope the skunk wasn't a part of their sexual playground.
From personal experience, was hooking up with a coworker and she'd bring her dog into the office. Her dog started sitting under my desk every day and we were exposed.
That's hilarious. They act weird all of a sudden when things that should be considered normal happen. Like friends acting playful, but they suddenly stop, because they realize it might be taken the wrong way, when in reality it wouldn't. They are only fearing such as they know things are indeed the wrong way.
A friend at work started secretly dating a coworker, and it was completely obvious because of the shift from the routine way they had always acted to one of almost strained professionalism when they interacted around others. Plus you'd catch things like the sidelong glances or weird excuses about why neither one could join everyone after work when they probably had plans together. When he finally told me, I replied, "Yeah, no poo," and laid out all the telltale clues they had been showing. He was genuinely surprised as he thought that they had been successfully keeping it on the down low. They almost try too hard to hide it. Like if they go to an arcade with their coworkers, they'll play different games but right beside each other instead of just playing together. Or they'll flirt with total strangers at the bar area. Or freak out if people think they're flirting. Just stuff like that.
They hate drama.
I always thought it was a pretty profound observation in Love Actually that Emma Thompson's character spotted that her lizard of a husband and that floozy made an effort not to react to each other. She served him a drink at a party, and he didn't say thank you. Subtle.
House MD has a line like this too. Nurse whatever brought you a coffee and you didn't thank her. That only happens when you're real intimate with someone.
Nice try, wife. I'll be home regular time and I won't forget the milk this time.
Staring. I was secretly seeing a guy in school. As far as everyone else was concerned, we couldn't stand each other. This girl I barely knew pulled me aside and whispered, "I don't know what's going on between you two, but you need to stop staring or everyone else is going to know." Later on he wanted to know what the girl said to me. I wasn't about to admit she noticed my staring, so I said, "She thinks there's something going on with us because you keep staring at me."
Ask them, "So, you guys effing or what?"
They're Mormon and invite you to jump on their bed.
Subtle touches or friendly banter that's just a little bit out of the ordinary vibe check.
You have to go F them both individually, and see if either of them have the same tricks.
Check if they taste like the other.
Op is going through some poo LMAO.
If Op is asking, it's already too late. Move on.
They accidentally send a company-wide email sharing a picture from their vacation together in Sandals, Jamaica.
Tan almost everywhere. Jan almost everywhere. He.
Walking in on 'em doing it.
Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies and I saw one of the babies and the baby looked at me.
They glow under a black light when they come back from inventory.
They stop saying thank you to each other. Got caught out myself with that. Edit. For context, we were in a group of friends and trying to keep it secret. I didn't say thank you once or twice for little things like taking a drink from my secret boyfriend whilst talking to someone. I just carried on my conversation. Another friend noticed this. I'm not saying I don't say thank you to my long-term partner. That wasn't the question.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.